Hi everyone on the internet. We just are finishing up our 15-part series about U.S. immigration. The part series can be edited. In any case, we've talked about a lot of different numbers of visas, and if you want to come to the U.S., there's a lot of options. Check out some of the prior videos. Attorney Joaquin Rosales is here with me.
James, nice to see you again.
Yes, and he's amazing. He knows all about immigration and the different options. Today, I'm gonna pass the mic, per se, to Joaquin because I wanted to do a video about taxes, because everyone who's coming here always asks about taxes to one extent, because the U.S. has a bad rap about taxes. The truth is, it's you have to be ready. You have to plan for it. In the U.S., if you plan for it, you can be in control. But if you do nothing, you can surely get in trouble. So, Joaquin, I'm going to start by asking you, what are the most common tax questions you get? And then you can ask me those questions, yeah?
Of course. So, well, the most common question is, am I going to be taxed, essentially, whether, when I get a visa? And as you can see in our previous videos, we talk about, sort of these two main visas, right? Whether it be a permanent residency out in here or a temporary one. So depending on those, I always get that question regardless of whether or not you're doing a temporary stay here in the United States or you're doing a permanent residency. And the question is always, if I'm going to go over there, am I going to get taxed? And so, and the answer is, it depends, right? It really depends on your type of visa, how long you're staying here. And sometimes even just because you have a temporary visa doesn't mean that certain tax laws won't apply to you like they would as if you were a resident, correct, James?
Sure. So the tax residency is different from other forms of residency. When you talk about immigration residency, or like there's a lot of different concepts where residency comes into play, but income tax residency is kind of straightforward. It's calculated. If you have a green card or your citizenship, you're a U.S. tax resident and you pay tax on your worldwide income. If you don't live in the U.S. but you still have your green card and you live in the United Kingdom or Brazil all year, you still have to pay tax as a U.S. resident. You have to report your worldwide income. So that's an important distinction, because in that example, you're not really a U.S. resident, but you are a U.S. tax resident. So that's where the tax distinction comes in. So when Joaquin's talking about the visas that get you a green card, the permanent residency visas, when you get that green card in your hand, you are a tax resident from that day forward. So if you have a bunch of profitable companies in offshore jurisdictions that don't pay taxes, you should have done something before that. So it's all about planning. It's all about doing things before, and doing it before the end of the year, before you get that green card in your hand, before you come to the U.S. So the timing is super important on that. Yep. And if you don't have a permanent residency visa and you have an E2 and you just have a visa where you can come and go as you please, it's more about the days that you spend in the U.S. And there's certain exceptions. You can claim closer connection exemptions, and there's certain tax things you can claim. But what I want to comment there is anything that's located or happening in the U.S., you have to pay tax on that in the U.S. So whether you're in the U.S. or not, non-resident or not, if you have rental real estate or a physical store in the U.S., you pay taxes on those profits in the U.S. So those are the biggest distinctions I want to hit on.
Okay. Yeah, glad you cleared that up for us. And I mean, we also have a lot of questions regarding people who, have a plan to emigrate to the States, but perhaps they already have businesses in here, or they're doing stuff sort of service-based, online-based businesses. And I'm always getting questions as to, can I keep, my companies in my countries? How do I manage, sort of expanding my business and creating entities over there? Do I have to create it in certain states, or is there a difference? And I always tell them, you have to speak to experts about that. And I'll let you talk more to that. But I mean, I guess if you can talk about a little bit about structuring, here in the States, whether it makes a difference, how you do it, and
sure,
what are the,
sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, I could talk all day about this. Once you become a tax resident in the U.S., you get your green card, and you're here, you have to pay taxes in the U.S., and there's U.S. tax planning that you have to do. So having the right kind of companies, timing your revenues, what we focus a lot on in tax planning, on deferring revenues and speeding up expenses. And that way it lowers your income and lowers how you pay taxes. There's different types of entities that you can choose from, in order to operate your business, and that's important from a legal perspective, but more important from a tax perspective. All entities have limited legal liability. I mean, you can comment on that more, but it's not really the point of what we're talking about. So it really, I'm going to say this over and over, but it depends. It's really important to talk to a professional if you have appreciated real estate, if you have companies outside the U.S., if you have like trusts or other investments. I know a lot of Brazilians have different kinds of investment funds within the banks. Those aren't as taxed as favorably in the U.S. as they are in Brazil. But generally, if you have a business, like if you're from Denmark and you have this business there, and you're paying 50% or 40% on your company, you don't have too much to worry about in the U.S. because there's double tax treaties in place. There's a lot of it's based on the source of the income. So the U.S. isn't going to tax you on something where you pay tax on in another country if you're actually doing business there. But it's worth a conversation. It's worth going through it, right?
I get that question a lot.
Yeah. So if you have, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having businesses outside the U.S. and there's nothing wrong with real estate investments, passive investments. They're all great, and I might tell you you can keep it, but I will tell you that we should have a conversation about it because maybe you shouldn't keep it because there's just a lot of nuances, and we really need to run projections. We need to go through it because you're changing your life. You're relocating to the U.S. You're coming here, and you got to follow the rules once you're here. And luckily,
it's all about planning.
Yeah, it's all about planning, and luckily the rules can be very favorable. I mean, our max tax rate is 37.9% or something like that. It's like 39%, but most of my clients, like, the goal is to keep it like in the 20s, and most of my clients keep it around the 20s unless you're insanely profitable and you're realizing all the profits. You can really lower your tax rate to a really reasonable rate if you do some planning there. And one last comment about this is that if you just have a job in your country, no companies, nothing like that, and you're coming here and you're going to have a job here, it's kind of less important, but it's still worth a conversation, and it's still worth structuring the right way. But
pre-immigration tax planning, do it. Got to plan it, and I think it's going to be something that James can help you out, and definitely contact him for any of your inquiries, questions about that, and we're happy to talk to you guys about that and all the topics here.
Yeah, it's all about the residency and the tax stuff, and like Joaquin said, we don't need to go into too much detail about this. Just planning is important. Residency is very nuanced, and it's just know that you have the control in the U.S. You can really set it up, and you can really do it the way you want it. You just have to do it ahead of time. It's like when you come to me in March to do tax planning for the year before. It's really tricky. There's very limited options. But in any case, thank you for your attention. Comment if you have questions. Like, subscribe, schedule calls with either of us, him, immigration, me, income taxes, and we'd be happy to help you. Thanks for your attention. I'll see you on the next video.
Take care, guys. Thank you, guys.